Maple is one of the most common North America trees. There's 13 species of maple native to North America. Primarily separated into two groups of lumber, hard maple and soft maple. Hard maple is commonly referred to as sugar rock maple. Soft includes silver red and big leaf. 4 species are commonly tapped, and I didn't realize this. Sugar, red, black, and silver. And I think I read somewhere box elder, is a member, and you could tap box elder if you wanted. You're not going to get a lot of sugar. You probably have to. It's more bitter too. Well, I think I might have that in here somewhere. The wood grain of maple, and this is the wood grain now, and there's a piece. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send these around too, just in case so you can go the same way as you did with the other ones. Just pass those around, Kevin. Thanks. The wood grain includes quilted, curly, bird's eye. So it's just different variations of how the grain in the wood is growing, right? Instead of in straight, parallel, straw-like configuration, when it starts to wave and you cut it and sand it, it has a characteristic called chatoyance. And chatoyance is the ability for something flat, like curly maple, to look like it's three-dimensional in the light. Maple is valued for building furniture, home construction, artwork, and musical instruments. It's actually considered a tone wood. A tone wood. So I think violins are made out of, it's common for violins, isn't it? You can identify maple by its color, texture, and grain. Hard maple, it's lighter to a pale white, creamy color with minimum grain patterns, so it can be very plain. And then soft maple is slightly darker, varies colored range, pale yellow to light brown. Finishes like this is kind of what you can try at home. It's one way to look at something and say, is it hard maple or soft maple? If you apply like a Danish oil to it, the Danish oil will get sucked up more quickly in a soft maple. And if it's a hard maple and you put Danish oil on it, sometimes it seems like it's not penetrating at all. And so that'll be one way to figure that out. Other characteristics, the weight. Maple boards are can be up to 25% heavier. Hard maple is slower growing and usually have smaller, tighter growth rings. So that would be the other thing. If you had end grain of a soft and a hard, the hard maple will have much tighter growth rings. But again, that can vary too, because if you have ideal growing conditions, that contributes to bigger growth rings. It's when the tree is under stress, it doesn't grow real fast, that you end up with the tight condensed rings. And then this was something, I think I had a picture on this. The leaves, I didn't realize this until I was researching it. But hard maple leaves have kind of a U-shaped in the valley. You know how the maple leaf looks like? And the soft maples have slightly more V-shaped, and they call it a sinus. That void is called a sinus. Oh, here it is, yeah. Let's see, can I do this? How do I back up? Yeah, there we go. So, like here, the hard maple will have a little bit of a rounded in the segment in these valleys. And then this is a silver maple or a soft, and they're a little more, V'd, a little more narrow and straight. And then fun facts, maplewood is actually versatile because it lacks distinctive odor. So if you're making something out of a wood like walnut, when you're cutting it, I can smell that, a mile away. Cedar, yep, there's a bunch of them out there that'll have aroma. If you go into a new house, a lot of that pine smell, which I enjoy that smell, but maple would have very little. It's considered a tone wood, carrying sound waves well. And here's the answer. It takes 40 to 50 gallons of tree sap to produce a gallon of syrup. Box elder is in the maple family. Acer genus. Can also be tapped for syrup. And then this was an interesting thing. So anybody familiar with the Janka scale? Yep. So the Janka scale is how they measure the hardness of wood. And what they do is they take a steel ball and they push that, and the steel ball, I don't know why, but it's 0.444. Is there anything significant about that? 0.444 of an inch diameter? For some reason they settled on that. And they push down on it. When that ball is depressed halfway into the wood, they stop, and then that becomes the hardness rating. Okay? So if you look at, let's see here, there's different things that they do. They take multiple samples and then they average it, and they try to get it out of the heartwood. They don't want to do it in the sapwood, but that's all contributing to the consistency of the test. Oops, I hit once too many. So I have a list of common trees over here and their hardness rating. So if you look at hard maple, it's 1,450 pounds of pressure to push. It's almost a half an inch ball, but to push that half an inch ball halfway into the wood, it's almost 1,500 pounds. And the common trees around here, hickory and pecan are the only two that we would maybe see regularly that would be harder than hard maple. And then soft maple was 950. So you could see that it takes an extra 500 pounds basically to push that ball through on hard maple as it would soft maple. That's why a lot of those workbenches and things are made out of hard maple, because they're so rugged.